Sunday Night Live, everybody. How you doing? Sunday Night Live, LSU Odyssey live here. Everybody, how you doing? It was a tough night, tough evening for LSU women's basketball. They fall at the Elite Eight position for the second straight year. 3 straight Elite Eights for Kim Mulkey, but now that is the 8th Elite Eight that she has fallen in, that she's lost at the Elite Eight round more than any other in her career, Kim Mulkey. It's not to say anything bad about what she's done. That's literally to say, like, she's won 4 freaking rings. She's made, lost 8 Elite Eights and then gotten further past that 4 different times. So 12 different times she's gotten to the Elite Eight or further. 4 titles. Just simply an incredible resume from her. And you saw Flau'jae, 24 of her 28 points in that second half, willing her team back to victory, to, hitting shot after shot after shot when it looked like, maybe this was done. Bring it back to 7, bring it back to 5, bring it back. And it just, every time the door was open, LSU women's team would either make some really bad error, throw the ball away, do something really senseless, or you would see UCLA hit some 3, and that was just 1 3 after another, basically. But UCLA really played a terrible game. LSU should have won that game, but LSU were playing far worse than UCLA. And it was a very sloppy game from both sets of teams. And LSU should have been able to take advantage of that and just seal this thing with a late surge, a good run. They had that run. They had that surge. It wasn't enough. They really didn't deserve to win tonight. Like, let's be real here. They literally threw the ball away so many times. It was sad to see. But LSU women's fall at the Elite Eight, and I just want to say congrats to them for, once again, another Elite Eight trip. But obviously that's not what was on their mind. They wanted higher aspirations, and I feel bad for that because it might be the end of kind of the nucleus of this team for LSU women's basketball with, Flau'jae, Morrow, Tarapoa, people like that. But we're not an LSU women's basketball show, are we? We're not an LSU women's basketball show, are we? We are LSU college football, baby. LSU football, baby. And LSU are right in the middle. A urologist ad right there. LSU are right in the middle of spring, and they're on their spring break now. But it's the perfect time to really kind of take stock of what we're seeing so far, what this squad could actually achieve this season. It's an unbelievable squad, in my opinion. There was a long time where I thought, oh, we don't have enough depth here, we don't have enough depth there, and you really start to see, and not everybody is on campus still. There's still more people come on campus. It's incredible how much depth LSU has. And if they use it to its ultimate, if they actually are wise with this depth that they have, they rotate people at certain positions. At the edge spots, you always have a fresh guy. Tight ends, you always have a fresh guy. Receivers, you always have a fresh, absolute dynamo weapon. LSU could really be something special this year. It's LSU could actually do this in 2025. I'm starting to have the feeling. I don't say this lightly. In fact, I have never said this about a team since 2019. 2019 was a team you knew would be able to contend and be right there if we could just beat Alabama. If we can beat Alabama, We can do this thing. We can run this table. But you knew there was going to be tough contests, 7 top 10 games that LSU were going to have to get through that year. But because of what we had at quarterback, Joe Burrow, the offensive weapons, the O-line, all this stuff, you felt confident about that team. You had Stingley shutting down half the field. Okay, there were some pieces there that made you feel good going into that season. But LSU can actually do this in 2025 because this is a team with some serious intent. Like, if they stay healthy, they control the endings of games more. If you stay healthy, because they've had a problem with injuries over the last few years, especially to key guys, and then you control the endings of tight games with that running game behind Caden Durham, who probably, without a doubt, is going to be the SEC's, I shouldn't say without a doubt, but probably in the top 2 or 3 SEC running backs in the country just going into the season, and could absolutely be number 1 by the end of it. We're not going to count him out of anything. And you're just going to have to hope that your offensive line, replacing 4 or 5 starters, they can be able to do that. They can control games, behind Durham, and this new O-line can kind of coalesce. But you also need your defense to show up for most of a season for the first time in 5 years. That's probably the biggest key outside of the O-line. Is this receiving core, as good as they appear? Or is our secondary just as bad as they've been the last few years? I think it's actually the receiving core is damn good, and I think the secondary has been far upgraded. I think this is iron sharpening iron at those spots, and I think there's really nothing too much to worry about in the secondary from just the surface. Just from when you look at it from 10,000 feet, you've got some good names. There's some depth issues around the bend, though. You lose a guy here, you lose a guy there. Suddenly, you're really wondering who's going to be playing, and maybe you have to swap and switch some guys around, and then it gets a little murky. But does this team have enough depth? Does this team have enough depth that they can, survive without maybe Guillory, Perkins, or Weeks at like 100% to start the season, potentially? What if that had to happen against Clemson? Maybe say you go without 2 of those guys playing maybe more than 15 snaps. Would this defense still be able to win this game for this team? Put this offense in a position to win the game? Well, this pass rushing room that is absolutely littered with fantastic talents from Patrick Payton, Jameer Butler. You have absolute weapons all over there. Gabe Relaford should probably be starting opposite Patrick Payton. He's that good. You literally have some absolute freaks. Jack Pyburn as well. You have some freaks at the edge rushing positions. You got Dominic McKinley, Ahmad Bro through the middle with Jacoby and Guillory. Cider Mitchell has been kicking absolute ass in practices lately. And so many people online, people like Twin Pringles Can Priv from this group chat, was always saying, Cider Mitchell will be a bench guy. Cider Mitchell will be a bench guy. And I'm like, how do you know? He hasn't come here yet. He was that at Texas. Blah, blah, blah. And look at what he's done. He's come in here and he's raised his level. And now he looks like one of the best guys on that defensive line. Sean Washington raises his level as well. You've got to really, it's just, LSU's defenses have missed some true statistical power from the defensive line for like 5+ years, probably longer than that. Probably go back to 2017 after Arden Key left, after being the record setter. with 12 sacks in 2016. And there's only been, some marginal increases once in a while. K'Lavon Chaisson had like 6.5 sacks in 2019. Not huge numbers, but enough to get you drafted first in the first round. Ojulari in 2022, I believe, had something like 7. And then Perkins, 2022 as well, put up 7.5. And then you got Swinson this last fall, who was, the most productive LSU pass rusher since Arden Key with 8.5 sacks. And outside of those guys, you don't really have much operating at the standards of LSU defensive line play that we've come to expect and believe should happen, especially with the quality of player we recruit year in, year out, regardless of that position. Jaquelin Roy, there's all these names that kind of Tyler Shelvin, the defensive line has been unbelievable for LSU for years, but putting it all together with personnel, the timing, the development, the buy-in, the staff, especially staff continuity, keeping the same staff year to year at defensive line has proven to be quite impossible for the LSU Tigers, it seems. But hopefully Kyle Williams, and signs are great early on, but hopefully Kyle Williams will embrace kind of the struggle that's going to happen in year one for him and figure it out alongside him and Kevin Peoples. There's going to be moments where maybe he has those difficult coaching moments, but I have total faith in Kyle Williams. He looks fantastic with that defensive line, and he's got them laughing at jokes. He's got them buying in. He's got them aggressive, intense. You saw Ahmad Bro throwing a double team away to the side like they were, pure meat and potatoes on a plate. I mean, they were nothing to him. And there's a feeling this is the time that maybe this defensive line is ready to kind of make a statement. This is a group of 16 transfers who not only will have to be the real linchpin of this 2025 squad if they want to be successful. They're bought in. They're vocally leading the group already. Berrien Brown, Bauer Sharp, Jack Pyburn. You see these type of guys leading the room. But there's these, returning players like DJ Chester or Weston Davis or Ashton Stamps who've been getting so much crap online for the entire offseason. A lot of in-the-know fans, a lot of insider podcasters just dismissing these guys. And they're not, that's fine, but they're not allowing these transfers to just come in there and take their jobs, take their snaps. They've held their own throughout spring into this spring break. It's been impressive, and that's gone for a lot of different positions. But overall, you've got to love what LSU has at quarterback with Garrett Nussmeier, obviously going to put up a lot of numbers with the weapons he's got at his disposal. You got to love what you've got at left tackle with Tyree Adams. He looks like the next stalwart bookend tackle for LSU. Who will be the right tackle? Weston Davis, Josh Thompson. You've got some good options there, but we'll see. At running back, Caden Durham, as we've said, can shut the lights out on any given play. At center, you actually have options for once. That's rare for the first time in a few years. You have the best receiving room in America, in the country. You have the best receivers in the country, right in one room. There's maybe there's debate about that. The talent is almost bottomless at the receiving room. You got one of the best linebacker rooms. You've upgraded at safety. You've got Harold Perkins finally playing in a free role in the right position. You've upgraded at safety, like I just said. You've upgraded at defensive line, interior defensive line, and majorly upgraded at edge. You've upgraded in the staff. Alex Atkins coming aboard. Lance Guidry coaching the safeties. You've added some big pieces to the puzzle that might not get all the plaudits throughout the season, but we're seeing that hard work right now being cultivated and creating a culture that's already bought in. We're not having to wait for a buy-in about 2025 LSU Tigers. They're already on board. They're already ready to kick some ass. When's the game's going to kick off? So what's the wait? Why wait any longer for Brian Kelly to win that national championship and deliver that first LSU title since 2019? What's in the way? What's in the way of LSU getting a national championship in 2025? Because there's a lot of pluses that we just went through. So maybe let's go through what's in the way. I think you got to look at depth in certain areas, because in certain areas you are just an injury away from really being in some serious, asking some serious questions about those positions. I think corner is a spot that you've got options, but it still is going to be worrying. Offensive line is really where it all begins and ends. Because if this offensive line is a disaster, say, for example, just say they're like the 2021 offensive line for LSU, okay? And a little bit of last year even too. But say they're kind of in that mold. Well, then you're going to see an offense that throws the ball faster, quick attacks, quick striking offense. That's what you'll see, because they simply will have to out of necessity. So there's certain things about this team where they've got so many weapons and so many pluses that there's a lot to love about this LSU team going into this season. There's so much to love about this squad going into this season. You heard it from Davon Keys' father. Starting LSU linebacker Davon Keys was on the show, and his father said, Davon, this defense, man, they could be a top 10 defense this year in 2025. And I think that's, I'm not gonna go there just now, but I'm gonna say, yeah, I could see that, because there's already buy-in, there's already physicality with this defense, there's already intensity with this defense. There's things you can't coach, there's things you can't, intangibles you can't really get into a player. A coach is powerless in some of those positions, some of those situations. The desire is there, the work ethic is there from these guys, the drive, the push for nonstop improvement. These players are getting better every day when they're going out in the practice field. And what I love is that you see one guy have his day, and then another guy have his day, and then another guy, and it's just back and forth and back and forth. And there's never just one side dominating the other. There's never just offense kicking the defense's ass, defense dominating the defense. Dominating offense. It is literally back and forth. You never know what you're going to get. You never know who's going to get the interceptions, who's going to get the fumbles, who's going to throw the interceptions, who's going to get those touch sacks. There's been a lot of playmaking by these guys. You've seen Jakeem Jackson getting his hands on the ball. You've seen a few different guys getting interceptions that I shouldn't name. You've seen Gabe Relaford getting strips, getting some touch sacks. You've seen some playmaking from this defense against the first teams as well. This defense has to just simply be aggressive. If this defense is simply hell-bent for leather aggressive, they're going to give Nussmeier opportunity after opportunity to win games just simply by giving him extra possessions. So I don't really need this defense this year to be perfect, right? Aesthetically, or how many numbers they allow, that whatever. What this defense needs to do is clamp down in the red zone, create turnovers, and get to the damn quarterback. You do those three things, as well as the obvious shouldn't even be said, but we have to say it because it's LSU's defense the last few years. Tackle. If they do all those things, this defense will be damn good. They don't have to hold every opponent under 30 points. They don't have to hold every opponent, to under 200 yards passing or under 100 yards rushing every single week. They don't have to do that. This defense simply needs to create turnovers, give the ball back extra times to Garrett Nussmeier, clamp down in the red zone, force field goals, make it difficult, and then get some damn pressure on the quarterback. And we have the tools in every single respect to do that. You have the tools, especially with the edge rushing, the pass rushing. It has to deliver this season. You want to criticize the 2023 defense, right? Matt House's defense. That defense was horrible when it comes to rushing the passer, right? Well, guess what? Last year, LSU's defense only had 3 more sacks than that 2023 defense. LSU's defense last year, just 3 more sacks than the 2023 worst defense of all time in LSU history defense. So there is a lot to improve. They have paid that money to improve in those areas. You've seen it, Patrick Payton, Jameer Mitchell, or God, am I saying his name wrong? Jameer Mitchell, the Nebraska, Jameer Butler, the Nebraska guy, and Jack Pyburn, who looks like an absolute freak. Jack Pyburn, man, linebacker, edge rusher, he could be both. He could be someone who helps both rooms. That's what we're looking at with these guys this season. Is so many of them are just football players. You've got so much speed on offense as well. I mean, we've been talking about the defense, but you've got athleticism everywhere you look on the defensive side. Sure, safety is still concerning. I still have to see it proven to me. Safety has been that bad of a position for that long. I have to see it proven, right? But offensively, the speed is outrageous. The speed is unreal. Don't you love when a child is watching something on an iPad and they're like, well, no, I want to watch it on this other iPad. And it's like, so you interrupted my live stream because you don't like the iPad you're watching the show on. Like, no, I want you to go get a charger and charge this one because this one is just not. Children are hilarious. But yes, I really think that this is a team that if this team is not, I'm just going to say it right here. I'm just going to say it right here, right now. If this team is not competing for a national championship this season, Brian Kelly, his time should be up because the money's been there, the personnel's there, the transfer help's there. Every tool is there. You've got endless returning talent. You've got this returning quarterback who's in that position to be, award season greatness. You've got an endless amount of skill position weaponry. Bottomless. Probably the most depth, most arsenal. I'm not going to say the best, but the most arsenal and the most depth in a Cortez Hankton receiving room. since Brian Kelly's been in charge. They've been there together every season. So there is zero excuse. Zero excuse. Yes, he does, Jamer. Yes, he does. We haven't even mentioned Trades Green in this entire show. That just shows you how ridiculous the options are for LSU. Trades Green is almost an automatic touchdown in the red zone. Okay? He's probably going to catch like 8 or 9 touchdowns all in the red zone this season. So my point is LSU are loaded here with absolute options. Maybe not everywhere on defense, but good enough for this defense to be top 25, at least. Top 10, they don't have to be top 10. They can at least be a top 25 defense and put LSU in the college football playoff by far and away if they are. This is a weaker SEC. This is just like we had the last few years. This is a weaker college football landscape, especially when you're talking quarterback play. There's still some damn good quarterbacks out there. Okay. I don't think anyone's as better or as prepared or as experienced or as productive as Garrett Nussmeier. So, point is, LSU, it would be a criminal act if this squad is not right there on the Final Four in the title game. And LSU do not lose title games, people. So, LSU got to be right there. And I know you can lose games in awful, unlucky ways. I understand. I'll take that into account. But if Brian Kelly does not have this team on that doorstep, knocking the door down, and maybe some horrible injury takes the chance away, or some crazy, just unbelievable play by the other team, something that just, well, what can you do? Music City Miracle type of thing. Okay. But other than that, Brian Kelly's got to be delivering not a championship. I'm not going to say championship or bust, because he's not going to go anywhere regardless. And him getting to that spot where he's getting even close to a championship, the feeling around Brian Kelly will improve with that as well. But you do not want the narrative to continue of, see, he got you to the doorstep, but he still could not win the big one, because that is exactly what they'll say. The whole time they're terrified of, oh, God, Brian Kelly's going to finally win a championship. Oh, my God, my worst nightmare. These LSU fans are going to be insufferable. Oh, my God, my Twitter mentions, oh, my God, all the receipts I'm going to get destroyed. All the bookmarks people have on me. Oh, my God, these Brian Kelly people are going to kill me. And then it's like, oh, God, they lost again. They lost another big one. Oh, my God. So LSU, they need to just cash this season in. Cash this season in, because I'm telling you, LSU are loaded with the talent. They're loaded with the depth in a lot of different places. Maybe not in every single spot you would like. Defensive tackle. Maybe they're a little short there. Maybe they're shorter than even defensive tackle at safety. Maybe they're shorter at corner than you would like. Still, this is a fantastic squad, littered with absolute freaks. And you've lost 4 out of your 5 starting offensive linemen from last year. You're the program's most productive tight end in the history of LSU football has left the door, and you've improved at the tight end position. You may have even improved at offensive line when you're talking about overall play compared to last year, if this team even just above average performs, because last year, as good as the offensive linemen are individually last year, they didn't quite have it together last season. And there's some injuries as well that made that get worse. But this is a situation that has all the alignment you would want, where staff has been upgraded, squad has been upgraded, the moment feels right. There's a palpable sense in the room, in the college football landscape. LSU are the team to watch out for. Brian Kelly is the coach that is on the hunt. This is a team that is cold-blooded. This is a team that is going to be ruthless. This is a team that is not going to play favorites or play politics or play patty cake with their roster. They're going to play the best players. and the best players are going to go out there and be as ruthless as this team possibly can be. I don't think they're going to be shy scoring points on teams either. I think if they can get you and shoot you out of the building 60, 70 points, they're going to do that this season. I think they're going to let Garrett Nussmeier put up as many numbers as possible. From what I've heard, they really want to put him in a position to get to that Heisman level. And they know that, and they believe that he can. So do I. And he's got the weapons that he can feed that will absolutely take him to that level. This is a squad that you just see it each practice day. The feeling gets more and more intriguing, but exciting as well. Like, this is a team where if this team is not on the doorstep of a national championship in 2025, going into January 2026, they're not there playing somebody in the Final Four at least, there would be an extremely palpable sense of disappointment. And what do we do next here? We just put all of our chips in the middle of the table, and damn, here comes another reload. And that's what we'd be looking at if LSU can't deliver on the promise of this very, very talented, very deep squad, at least in a lot of different positions. Everybody, thank you so much for visiting with us. Is there anything anybody would like to ask? Anything anybody would like to say? Please fill up the comments. We'll be on here live for a bit more. Just 1 second. Sage. Come here. You want any more of this pouchy? No more pouchy.
No.
No more pouch? You want to talk to the people? Want to talk to the people on the screen? Come here. Want to talk to people? Want to say hi? Show them all the words you can say. Say hi.
Say hi.
Say hi, Jamie. Hi, Jamer. Did you just hear that? He said, hi, Clara. Oh my gosh, Seiji. Are you the exorcist? You are hilarious. Who's your favorite to watch on TV? Is it? You like James Bond? What? What are you saying? What? He's in that stage where toddlers say the most bizarre, most crazy, outrageous things, where he's just going, drink milk. There he goes. What did you watch that on? You're like imitating it or something. Say hi, everybody. Oh, Jamie says hi. Hi, Sage.
Dada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
And then look, that's you. That's Sagey. Oh, is that Sage? Is that Sage? That's Sagey. Little blue-eyed boy, Sagey, huh? The blue-eyed soul. Show everybody your mater. Show everybody your tow mater truck. All right, everybody. We love you. We love you, Baton Rouge. We'll be seeing you soon. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.